All right, so welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Here I have us flipped around and pointed at my computer. We'll make do in this wacky time, but um, the idea here is there's a space that I created here using different manipulation features as well as a template, um, but a space that includes indoor and outdoor, and what I can do is move around within it with these little feet icons. So I'm going to go in the first area now. It's kind of like Sims. If you've ever played that game, I found it similar to that. And this will be brief, but can give you an idea, as I hope it will give future gallery and museum owners an idea of what these ideas can look like on gallery walls. Because, right, that is the point, is to make this, oops, I found, yeah, easier to manipulate with a mouse rather than a trackpad. But that's alright. We're inside. So, this is the first room, and I'm going to go in, and then I'll turn things around. Mind my giant hand. So here we have the first bit. This is Children, Artists, and Relations, the expressive language and process of children's research. This is the title of the proposed gallery exhibition, and while all of this is flexible, these are the ideas that I'm working with, and the way that this is set up. Three nouns, right, that kind of coexist is very much how I saw a lot of the Reggio literature introduced that I was pouring through, so I thought that was fitting. And over here to the left, I wanted to start the exhibition with a little bit of history and philosophy of Reggio Emilia, because many people might not be familiar with it. And so here I talk about 1945 and the collapse of Berlin, northern Italy in ruin because of the World War, of course, and the Nazi conquest going on, where municipal preschools in Reggio Emilia originated through this desire for a reform of education, a form of education that is rooted in the discovery and the motivational learning of the child. So, in order to make sense, and in order to kind of never go back to the way things were, there's this idea that we need to radically transform our education. Things need to change in a big way from old kinds of education, in order to never go back to the way things were, in order to never regress, in order to never have these children that were raising see another war. So this is radical. This is big change, right? The goal would ensure against future generations being brought up in totalitarian injustices, forms of inequality. And this is a quote by Loris Malaguzzi. The art of research already exists in the hands of children acutely sensitive to the pleasure of surprise. The pleasure of learning, of knowing to understanding, is one of the first fundamental sensations each human being expects from experiences faced alone or with others. So, kind of foundational to the way in which children learn. I like that quote to begin things. And without diving into each bit on the wall, I wanted to incorporate quotes from children, artwork of children, process ideas, and this room is all devoted to Reggio ideas that already exist. We'll see this idea of a microclimate, what Reggio classrooms look like, and we can move further in our gallery room. Further along here, we see relational forms, manipulation, modification, self-learning. So this other idea, the Reggio idea that using materials, using these beautiful materials, and treating our materials as we would our peers and our friends, that there's a relationship to be built with materials, I think is really, really important and interesting. More drawings from children. These three here, this one up here, and this one are illustrations of cities from Reggio children. These two portraits of families eating at home together. So fragments of personal stories I have written there as a sort of illustration of the kinds of world that perhaps American audiences who are unfamiliar with Reggio, are entering into. And this space is devoted to kind of my interpretations or areas working with Reggio. And here I have Reggio images, because this is a proposal after all, but the rooms at the Children's Center are included here. Infants in the Starlight Room, and the schemas, the focuses of their provocations will be comparative textures, light, and in the Bunny Room, the 2-year-old room, objective dialogue and multisensorality. The 3-year-old room will focus on epigenesis and community. The Rainbow Room will focus on color and narrative. The 4-year-old room, that is. And I did get to bring a small group of Playhouse students, the 3-year-old students, over to the gallery, and so this is a bit of a preliminary gallery experience showing what it could look like, a beginning, a starting place, a jumping off point here. Children were working with drawing themselves and their communities on these big pieces of paper. They're activating with their bodies, engaging with the material in all kinds of beautiful ways. And another really important thing, element of Reggio, is documentation and reflection. So we have that here too. I know this is stretching long, but I want to conclude here with another quote of Carlina Rinaldi, the director of Reggio Emilia Preschools now, and I think this one is really, really fitting and really beautiful. When your child asks, "Why is there a moon?" don't reply with a scientific answer. Ask him or her, I suppose, "What do you think?" He'll understand, or she, that they are telling him, "You have your own mind and your own interpretation, and your ideas are important to me." Then you and he can look for answers, sharing the wonder, curiosity, and pain everywhere. It is not the answers that are important, it is the process that you and he search for together. So this idea of process being long-lasting and never-ending. Out here I have some work from Reggio children and work from professional artists, commingling. I think that's really important, to put children's work on a pedestal, make it as real as possible, or make it seem as real to them and to the public. And then I have some non-directional materials for gallery comers and goers to work with themselves out in this kind of outdoor park space. So that concludes my brief tour, and this is what my project has turned into. I hope to put it to some good use in the future. Thank you for looking today with me, and I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day.